Alright, YouTube, here's a recap of over the weekend. So we're gonna start out with this. I also ran Pinky, which is an RS4, and I ran my stock car. I didn't touch the castle car, and I'll show y'all why later on in the video. So what I forgot I did, right? I was supposed to test before I went out, but totally forgot. I went into the ESC and turned up the curve. Totally forgot about that. So when I was putting in my A to B tune, it wasn't working for me at all that day because the curve was so aggressive in the ESC. So nothing I did that day was trying to make it down. I had to dial it way back down just to run anywhere where I was supposed to. So it was a tough day, but it was all my fault. Also, I had added 5 grams to the front, trying to compensate for getting that the launch was harder. So I said, let me add more weight, but it didn't work. I went a couple rounds. Car did good. I think the best I did that day was a 204. So I know I need tires. I know Dan told me. But yeah, I need to test. Hopefully I can get to test this tomorrow. I went out and test the other car. I'll show y'all in a little bit, but this car, it did good that day, but it was just my fault that the car had more power than what I was used to, and that was from the throttle curve, which I should have just left alone, or even went into the computer to check it. But I had totally forgot about it, and then I checked it in the computer when I came home, and I seen that it was way off. So shout out to Marco for taking first place, and shout out to Charlie for taking runner-up. Also, shout out to Charlie for running his new PB. Josh ran a new PB. Shout out to everybody running new PBs. It's great. It was a great day of racing for sure. So the stock car, I'm not even going to get it on the bench. I'm going to just tell y'all. The stock car, the first race, I had the wheelie bar. I don't know how, but it was all the way to the floor. So both races I went off, the car just like spun on its own. It's like the rear wheel was steering it. The rear wheelie bar wheel was steering it. So it was throwing the car off. So I adjusted it in the points race because I put that same car in the bracket. So I adjusted it for the bracket and it pulled through. But as for the stock class, I bought back in and it just didn't have enough for my man Mike. He had them Cruels on, so he took off on me both times. But it was a good racing. It pulled through in the bracket for me. And then the RS4, you know, it normally does what it do, but it was so much tacky at the line that car don't use prep. So me putting it where everybody else is putting their prep tires at, it kind of got my car stuck in the semifinals. It cost me the race. So it's kind of tricky. Hopefully they separate the classes so that way that I don't have the problem with the foam tires. It's the second time that's happened, which sucks because I know the car performs well. I didn't even go through that car, and I'm thinking I either blew the ESC or the motor because the car completely shut off, and I haven't checked the logs or anything. So we'll see. We'll go through that car. Now let me get to what I was saying in the beginning of the video to show y'all what we was working on with the castle car. All right, y'all, this was the castle car. This was the castle car. So we're gonna just show y'all what this turned into now. Damn, just like that. So I want to shout out to Josh. I got this from Josh. I did some changing over to it. So I was supposed to give y'all a rundown in the next test video I did. I actually tested this yesterday, and the video will come out tomorrow. So, for one, I dropped the rails down. If you know the undercover chassis, this is Traxxas base. So the rails was up. I dropped them down, made it flatter. I also made this the battery holder. They had like 2 little brackets here for the battery. I took that out. Got the GNSS up front. The car sits pretty low. Alright, that's how the car sits. Alright, so now, this is from a DR10. Came with the car. It was off a little bit, so I made it work Just had to off center my shocks a little bit, but I got everything to work. Now, the first day I tested this, I tested it in the back of my house right here. So it was a rear motor. All you had to do, this chassis right here, you could make it rear because it has the holes for both sides. You can make it rear or you can make it mid. So I wanted a mid motor. So what I did was I flipped the chassis around and went straight outside and ran the car. So now my camber, this wheel right here, was facing out, both wheels. 30 feet down at the car would go dead straight, 30 feet down, it would just spin in a circle every time. I'm talking about I went through this all day. First time dealing with a mid motor, I had no clue what was going on here. So something said to me at like nighttime, I was pretty much done testing with this car. I was fed up with it. So what I said to myself was, I needed to order arms. So I was very impatient. That's the same thing I needed to order a shock tower. I was very impatient. So I made the shock tower work. And then what I did was I turned the arms around and drilled my own holes, made my own spaces, as y'all can see. Made those stock rear arms work reverse. So that's the left arm on this side, which is the right side, and the right arm is on the left side. But I have my toe where I want. You understand? So now let's get to the testing. First test hit. Remember, after I put this car together back like this, I didn't get to test it at all. It was nighttime. I said I'll do it when I can. I went out yesterday, tested the car. The first hit was a light soft tune. You'll see it in the video. It went dead straight. That's all I needed to see. So I started increasing power, and bam, we got what we wanted. We used a DTS and a GNSS, but we was like a 2.1 on the GNSS and 2.0 on DTS. But you'll see in the video, it was a couple 2.2s, 2.1s. We pushed it to there. But anyway, I needed a riser for the Traxxas. So my man Josh told me to use the mount that I had taken from the bottom from the wheelie bar and put it under, which gave me a couple more millimeters to bring the transmission up, which helped because it dropped the center of gravity of the car. As y'all see, this car is slammed, but my suspension is kind of stiff, so it don't bottom out or nothing. Maybe on a rough surface I'll have some problems. That's why I would need to change shocks. But right now, this car, for the most part, I put a stabilizer link here just to give it no chassis flex, and then I have this that holds the battery, which should stop chassis flex. All right, but y'all see it in the video when I was testing it, the car went pretty good. Right now, what I need is gearing. So I'm at 81.27. I think I need to go to like a 29 or a 30, maybe around there. We'll try it out. See, I'm using this is a different slipper clutch on this car because it's a Proline transmission, so I can't use most of the Traxxas gears I have to use Kimbro, or however you want to say it. But this, I had an 81 and a 93. Now, that same day, I tested this car with a 2.5 in it. And from it being cocked out, I didn't like the 2.5, so I end up taking the 2.5 off and going with the 6400, the calcium motor. So that's what we're going to keep in there for right now. We're going to play with gearing. Hopefully I can get it out tomorrow and test and see what's going on. You know, I had to create my own. Also, I made standoffs out of bullets. I had a bunch of 6.0 bullets. I put a hole in it, put it as a standoff in the front. But it kind of locked the shaft from moving like this. So I felt that wasn't helping. It was like a Pro Mod, the shaft being stiff, had no play to it to move if it bounced. So once I did that, correct this rear suspension, car was performing nice. So y'all stay tuned for the next test video with this. It definitely was good. Shout out to Russ and Kevin for coming out, setting up the DTS and testing with those guys. It was a good test session. So tomorrow, hopefully we get out again and have another good test session. I'm also having a little, I don't know if because when I'm coming back, the tires is prepped that it's kicking, but when it go down, it goes straight. But coming back, I'm fighting steering that I have to, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But the first day out with this car to really test, it did what it was supposed to. So just a work in progress, and hopefully we can keep working on it. So, all right, guys, y'all stay tuned. We'll see what happens. And I'm not going to run this wheelie bar, but that's all I have for right now. So it's going to stay up there for now. It was working yesterday, but it's nice. I got this, no tension on the springs. I want everything to just fall into place when it's ready. Fall right, it sit like that, and it'll come off the line, smack, bam, come right off the bar. You'll see it in the test video, but undercover, we're going to make this chassis do what it do, y'all. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. We're not going to give up on the rear motor. We're going to still work on it. All right, guys. Stay tuned.